Alpha 1, take 1, camera A, marker. Alpha 1, take 1, camera B, marker.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay, good. Can you just tell me your name and who you are?
Yep. My name is Kellen Dodson. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a public defender here in Kent County. There are a lot of layers of who I am. That's a tough question. Tough question.
Well, my name's Luis Rivera.
Nice to meet you.
I'm from the Grand Rapids area.
Okay.
Currently, I'm in the Delta program.
Okay.
I chose to do this interview because, to be honest, I got word that you were a public defender.
Yeah.
And so it caught my attention a little bit. And
Okay.
so I had a little bit of a topic in discussion, you know, a couple questions, you know. But why you choose to do this interview?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I love y'all. I love y'all. And any ability to give back, you know, to kind of say thank you for everybody that helped me out.
Yeah.
Opportunity that I might have some power to assist somebody else to do something special.
Okay.
It's a heck of a feeling, man.
I like that. Just get a little bit of a background, like, what's your story?
Okay. Man, there's layers to my story. I was born in Lansing, moved to Milwaukee for a little bit. Parents split, mother moved us to Tempe, Arizona. So it's me and my brother. I'm the oldest with my mother in Tempe.
Okay.
Graduated from Tempe, went to college, dropped out of college. So my story, I think my story is a story of resilience. I think that's my story, kind of rising from making poor decisions in life. Yeah. How about you?
Well, my story is I grew up in the Grand Rapids area, you know, over on the northwest side.
Okay.
And I would kind of say that I had a solid childhood, you know, but it kind of around like some of the formative years of my life, you know, stepping into teenage and stuff like that. It got a little rough, you know.
Yeah.
My dad, he got incarcerated,
So,
and following that, I wouldn't say I followed in his footsteps, but I did. I got involved in the system as well, you know. Did the in and out, you know. I'm at a point right now where I'm trying to move past all that, you know. So just trying to, I would say, find my purpose, you know. What would you say is the biggest mistake in your life?
Man, that's a heavy question. Biggest mistake in my life. That's a tough one, man, because I do believe that all the decisions brought me here. So the biggest one, that's a tough one, because I don't think I'd be the man I am now if this path would have started 10 years ago. I don't think I'd be as focused as I am now. So I don't harp on it too much.
Right, okay.
I'm more proud of myself for moving past where I used to be.
For me, myself, I would say one of the biggest mistakes I made is, you know, just kind of going through like elementary and stuff.
Okay.
Like I had teachers and you know, I would say role models, you know, elders, you know, come to me and say, well, don't do this, you know, stay on task about this, because this is where you can end up.
Right.
And I feel like one of my biggest mistakes was thinking, you know, that could never happen to me. You know, that's something I see on the movies. That's something that, you know, you hear about on TV. It's not gonna happen to me though, you know. I'm not gonna be like that. And then just like when it did happen, you know, just it caught me by surprise, because I never considered the fact that it could.
That real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like gets you out of bed in the morning? You know, what is your drive? You know.
Hey man, my strive is, I feel like I'm a unicorn in this city. I feel like ain't too many young black attorneys. The thought that I could possibly make a difference, that little old Kellen Dodson could possibly make a difference.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing that keeps me going.
Well, one thing I feel like what gets me out of bed in the morning is like the fear of failure. You know, because I feel like I've seen like just too many people go down the road that I fear the most. You know, so every time I'm in bed and I feel like, you know, giving up would be easy right now. You know, it would be easy to say, you know what, I'm done with this. But then I just got to reflect on you know, where people that I'm familiar with, where they are in life, you know, and I don't want that to be me, you know. So I got to force that upon myself to, you know, keep striving for the better.
That's one of the toughest things. You know, you were talking about that talent going down the wrong road. That pushed me for a while. I beat myself up for a while. As like I said, when I was dropping out of college, when I was doing silly stuff, I said, man, you got too much skills. You got too much talent inside. You a waste of talent. And I understand that was one of my biggest fears, that possibly that the gifts God has bestowed upon me, that my grandmother's put inside of me, could possibly go to waste. That mess. I understand that.
Right. What would you say is your biggest fear?
Ooh. Right now, it might be failure, especially having this little girl. I got a 9-month-old daughter at the house.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
So, yeah, thank you. So if daddy ain't providing, who knows what could happen.
Right.
That's probably my biggest fear right now, is one day something happening to me out of my control, because I'm a control freak now.
Right. Okay.
Something happening out of my control, something I can't stop. Real life hitting me, and somehow my daughter growing up without a father. That scares me to death.
That's real. I feel like one of my biggest fears right now is just becoming a product of my environment, you know. So
what does that look like for you?
It's something called the poor man's mentality.
Okay.
Males limiting themselves to what other people only allow them to do, you know. Okay. So like you know, I can't do this because it's never gonna happen. This is reality for me, instead of making my reality, you know, becoming that, you know, becoming an excuse, you know, for why I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, or why I didn't reach where I wanted to reach in life, you know. So I'm a believer, you know. You know, I believe life is what you make it, you know. Right. If you can strive for it, you know, you can get there, you know. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There is no, you know, this can't happen to me, because it only happens to certain people.
I think with that poor man's mentality, I think that comes from the individuals around us. And it's hard to roll solo. It's hard to roll on your own.
Definitely. I know somebody, and their interest is drawing, right? But they're not the best at drawing, so they instantly, you know, cut it off. Oh, well, I ain't good at it, but I want to do it, so I'm gonna just cut it off, you know. But like I said, that's all back to the poor man's mentality and striving for it. And, you know, well, I'm going to get there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to let nobody take it from me, or like my mental, my mindset take it from me, stuff like that, you know?
I tell young men all the time, if you can get to that level where you feel comfortable with who you are, and it opens up all kind of doors. You'd be surprised how mentally we hold ourselves back because we think we got to be something else. Not quite comfortable in our skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What would you say are some prejudices you faced in your life?
Ooh. Just being a black man. I've had cats in this city tell me I never knew black people were smart. A lot of individuals, you don't look like an attorney, you don't talk like an attorney, you don't dress like an attorney.
Right.
I've had cats in this city make comments about black folks that just wouldn't be appropriate if there were black folks around them.
Right.
And that's what I got to be careful with too, is because maybe I might have some prejudices as to what I think people think of me. So maybe I have this anxiety or this paranoia that maybe are causing me more stress than necessary.
You know, the whole segregation, not basically the physical form of slavery, but now it's the mental and the emotional, and, you know, people are actually losing their lives, you know, and I feel like the frequency of it is getting out of control. So if you had one thing that you could say, you know, to the United States right now, just about that, you know, like the nation, you know, what would it be? Because I know that's powerful, and it's taking a toll on a lot of communities.
Yeah.
You know?
If you turn on the news, white cop, black guy, white cop, black guy, white cop, black guy.
Right.
Like, why is that the headline every time? And it'd be something so minimal. So I do think there's a trauma that comes back from constantly seeing that, a certain hate that's being driven from just seeing that every day. But it's real.
Right.
But it's real.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing. Sometimes when you said one thing, sometimes I think turn off the TV, deal with your neighbor. Turn off the media. Deal with your neighbor. Talk to your neighbor. Get to know the world.
Right.
Get to know the world yourself besides going through a cell phone. Talk to your neighbor. Chop it up with somebody. Like today.
Right.
The world is so much bigger than Grand Rapids, so much bigger than Michigan, so much bigger than the U.S.
Right.
A lot of world out there. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
How about you?
If I could say one thing to just if I could say one thing to everybody, you know, it would probably be let me see how I could word this. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm stuck on that because, you know, I want to say something, but then I don't because I don't want to speak for cops that are still stuck in that mindset, that mentality of racism, you know, that have those prejudices, you know, and you know, it's everybody's not who they seem to be, you know. I feel like sometimes opinions get the best of us, you know, and opinions will take away some beautiful opportunities, you know.
That's deep.
You know, and I've faced it myself, you know. I've had opinions on people who could have changed my life, you know. But see, my opinions and that simplistic mindset, mentality of judging a book by its cover, you know, has ruined the opportunity of meeting somebody. And the majority of us are kind of past that, you know. But like I say, there's just some, and it doesn't make sense to me for real. Keep striving and keep the movements going because that's what speaks the most to them. When people see people are actually going to stand up, you know what I'm saying, and not go for it. And feel like sometimes that's what they want.
That
or,
emotional
you know,
response.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so when they see a peaceful response, it's like, well, that's not what we intended. That's not what we planned on.
Right.
So why are they doing this, you know?
Right.
And that's, like you said, that's one of the positive things of this generation, you know, that's coming into play is not reacting off emotion or impulse, you know. So that's definitely a good thing.
How do we apply that thought of not acting off impulse to everyday activities?
You know, there's definitely days where I react off impulse, where I react off how I feel in the inside, you know, and it's not always healthy, but I feel like sometimes, like for instance, I feel like sometimes we gotta be put in situations to know the outcome of certain things, you know. Or I feel like I needed to be incarcerated this last time to see I can't react off impulse because this one's broke me down mentally. So when I come to that point and I'm on the verge of reacting off emotion or impulse, and I'm just like, damn, I can't go back to that, you know, because I remember how it felt when I was there, and it felt terrible, you know. So, but definitely, I feel like people should just see both sides instead of seeing one side, you know. And it's hard to do, but I feel like we're definitely capable of it, so we should start putting it in to works more.
That's like you were saying. What's some of the biggest mistakes that you made? And I was kind of telling you, I don't know if they are mistakes. But I mean, I've been incarcerated before. I've gotten in trouble.
Okay.
I've done a lot of silly things.
Okay.
A lot of silly things. But again, I think those silly things, I'm bumping my head, help me become who I am now. Help me care more about individuals who I represent. I see them. I see those individuals. I have a somewhat of an idea of what their life may look like from my experience. So I'd motivate you to tell you, man, don't treat this like a mistake, but treat this as like a learning experience. Get stronger.
What do you feel like is the bravest thing you ever done?
Starting over. Starting over. Picking myself up. When I was failing, when I wasn't doing nothing positive in my life, to take that first step to say, hey, we don't like where we are, and move forward. Because I think I was getting so comfortable in my situation of negativity. So it was hard. It was hard to pull myself up. Because it was a long period of time I didn't like myself. So to pull myself out of that, I think that was one of the bravest things I did. And so I'm gonna take this life thing serious. And then too, man, being a father, that's been a challenge. That's been a gift that I never knew existed. That a child, that I have the ability to shape a child, mold a child into something. Who knows what she could become? Right. Especially a little girl. Right. Ooh. Because one day she's gonna be looking for a man. Right. And hopefully she'll look to see a man like her father. So that's been a gift. That's been very brave. I think that's probably it. Those two things, picking myself up and being a father, has been some of the two of the biggest, bravest things I've done. Yeah. How about you?
Man, I feel like the bravest thing I've done is forgiving people. That's hard for me.
That's deep.
I find it hard. Is cause man, I feel like I feel like one of the most hardest things, but brave, is forgiving my mom. You know, it's easy to hold a grudge against somebody and throw the things they've done or said towards you. It's easy to throw it in their face and you know, well, this is the reason and this is the reason because you done this and that. You know, so I'll just stay the way I am. But you know, it was brave to say, you know what, I'm not holding that against you. Our relationship is reborn. You know, it's whatever you have against me or whatever. Cool, but guess what? On my side, it's not gonna be that. You know, I'm looking at you for my mom and not the things you done. I'm looking at you for bringing me in the earth and giving me life. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, putting a roof over my head. You know what I'm saying? Giving me food. I'm looking at you for that, and I'm not gonna look at you for your wrongs no more. Man, one of the most talked about topics, you know, is our president. You know, Donald Trump. So, you know, and I just. Because it's like, you know, you got the mass majority that will say one thing about him, but then you got people who will actually break him down, you know. So let me just hear your thoughts about him. Like, how you feel about him?
About him?
Yeah, Donald Trump.
Man, we got a TV star as our president.
That's crazy.
As our leader.
Yeah.
He leads our country.
That's
a reality TV star with what kind of political experience?
Right.
Bunch of that paper, bunch of that money, and that's our president. That's who represents us. I think he's not the brightest, but I think he was never supposed to be the brightest. But for some reason, we felt comfortable putting a man like that in power, and I think we neglected a lot of the individuals who are going to suffer because of putting a TV star in power.
We actually have the United States president on Twitter, you know, on Twitter. And you'll read some of his tweets and you'll be like, no, this ain't the president. Right. That's not the president. I feel like he's depriving us of our rights right in front of our eyes, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the most crazy things. And I feel like and that just leads back to the past generation, you know. I just feel like this generation, they're so drawn to, like you said, the phones, the social media, what's going on, you know, who's got the best car, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that doesn't even matter when, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got kids being separated from their families, and like, I just feel like that doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, you know? So, like, I don't know, that's one thing that sticks out to me.
That's impressive of you that you recognize that. That's really impressive. So like I was saying earlier, your generation ain't just poor. Right. It's a lot of positive things that y'all doing. I'm curious to see where we go from here. Seeing these injustices, all these politicians now, we're talking about criminal justice reform. Right. Talking bad about prosecutors. Right. I thought I'd never see that. We're at a different day. It appears, I won't say it is, but it appears that individuals care more about the humanity, care more about the individual. But I do believe, again, the movements that the younger people are driven, there are a lot of positives going on, even though I beat up on the social media stuff. But there are some positives, and I do think you guys are going to be some great leaders one day.
Oh, yeah. And there's definitely some positives, some strong positives, you know, that represent powerful movements. But is there enough positives, you know, that actually stand for something and they're genuinely just good people, you know. Like how do we take the mass majority, you know, and get them moving in that direction, you know?
You know, I don't know if we can ever get the mass majority to do so. I think it starts with that little bubble, that little community, finding like-minded individuals, bringing up individuals as a leader, bringing up individuals who could possibly assist in changing things. So I don't know if you can ever change the majority.
Right.
Maybe. One thing I don't think we understand as minorities how much influence we do have.
Right.
So maybe that kind of counters what I was saying earlier. I think we started to understand how powerful we really are and how great our influence is. We could be something amazing.
You know, you got people working in prisons, you know, for, you know, $2 a week, you know, for 10 years of their life, you know, for 30 cents a day. And then they have a felony and they get out, can I get a job? You know, well, no, you have a felony, you can't get a job here. Well, 10 years of my life, you know, working on stuff you sell in your store, I can't get a job. So like, basically being a slave to a dollar, especially the justice system. So,
that criminal justice system, man, it's a monster. But man, it's that mindset. It's that mindset of who you want to be and where you want to go, but also paying attention to what that dollar and what that journey for that dollar is doing to your mind, is doing to your soul, doing to your body. You got to check in. Just because I got a little money in my pocket don't mean I'm actually doing anything or that is good for me. Because I agree, I'm one of the people, I say I'm not a money guy, but you know, I enjoy the luxuries I got from working hard.
Right.
But it's crazy that a piece of paper will have you selling your soul for a piece of paper.
Right.
Because that all it is, a piece of paper. Other people identify, decide, dictate to what that piece of paper means. But we selling our soul for a piece of paper.
Yeah. Like how people will turn on somebody for the dollar, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like back in the past generation, it's like that stuff meant more than the dollar. Because when less fortunate didn't have, all they had was each other, you know? So when the dollar came around, it wasn't, well, this is mine, you know, it's ours, and you know, without it, with or without it, we're together, you know what I'm saying? We strong. So we got computers in school, like so much. I mean, they trying to replace teachers with computers, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a downfall to some of our, you know what I'm saying, students, is because they're not getting that active engagement no more, you know? They're not getting that relationship building with a teacher where I can't wait to go to his class, that's my favorite teacher, you know? It's just, well, I'm gonna sit at a computer screen. Once I get bored, I'm gonna skip school, you know?
We'd rather be taught by a distant person rather than somebody right in front of us. Maybe that's just evolving as a society. I'm not sure. I wish I had that answer. But what you were saying earlier about the family mentality, I still believe there's a family mentality there. And maybe individuals in power who place these tools in front of us, maybe that could be a purpose of why they did what they did, to kind of break that up, my opinion.
Like being in the justice system, and like, especially in this generation, it's like, it's so much happening. You know, you see the media, it's one thing, and then it's another, and it's, you know, so like, what do you think this generation, you know, struggles with the most?
That cell phone, that social media, got too many influences, too many negative influences. I just don't get it with the phones. I don't get it with the Snapchats, the Instagrams, the Facebooks. Why we gotta publish everything we do?
Right.
Putting your business out in the streets. I never understand that. I think that's one of the biggest crippling effects of this society, is basically telling on yourself and the influences you let into your mind. There's so much more positivity out there besides what's on that cell phone. So much more life out there than what we see on our phones.
Social media nowadays is dictating, you know, rather you're successful or you're a failure. You
Right.
know, some people, well, if I ain't smoking weed, if I ain't shooting a gun on live camera, you know,
Right.
if I'm not doing that, then I'm not cool. I can,
Right.
you know,
You ain't real.
Right. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like it's crazy. You know, if I ain't making the best post, or if I ain't dressed the best, then you know what I'm saying, I ain't good enough. And to be honest, these are people you never met in your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The last generation, it's like they just had the values, like they meant more. The loyalty meant more, you know,
Okay.
like the family meant more, you know, because it blows my mind, like how far somebody will go for a camera, you know.
As we do this on the camera.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But why do you think people do that? Like, what do you think runs through their mind?
Like I was saying, man, I was always taught to be a leader, but it's difficult to become a leader. It's
Right.
difficult, again, to ignore the comments from the sidelines. And I think individuals they find solace, they find peace from fitting in. I mean, we all want to fit in. We all want the right to assemble, one of our constitutional rights. We want to assemble with like-minded individuals who, and I think that's what people fall into. It's not easy to do it on your own. And so people look out for influences that they think is cool. Drones, honestly. Honestly, I think we need more leaders. We need more men and women to step up and say, I'm going to be different.
Right.
And it's cool to be different. But I do agree with you. I do believe there was more of a family mentality, more take care of your own, take care of your community.
Right. Right.
And I do appreciate this era, this generation, because I do see a lot of individuals.
Right.
The clothes, the hair, the way they talk, the way they move, their swag is different than what I ever saw growing up.
Right.
So I don't want to make it seem like it's all negative, because a lot of positives going on. You guys doing a lot of real stuff. The movements that I never saw at a young age. You guys are powerful individuals.
You made an impact on me today,
Appreciate
man.
it, brother.
Thank
Made
you,
an
bro.
impact on me as well, too. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thank you.